Boker Tov, we're continuing Mishlei, Perek Yudalid, Pasuk Yudbet. Yesh derech yashar lifnei ish. There is a straight path in front of man. Ve'acharita darche mavet. But at the end is the path of death. So the Gaon Vilna explains, what does this mean? In front of you, in front of the straight man. And he says over here, ish is referring to a tzaddik even. It's a straight path, but at the end, it's death. So one could say, okay, maybe that's life. That's just an explanation of life, but it's not a chidush in that. So the Gaon Vilna explains that this is talking about when a person relies on his own self, even a tzaddik. You always have to, bounce things off of people that are wiser, friends, family, rabbis, etc. So make sure that your path that you're on is always a good path. So you could even have a person who's a tzaddik who says, okay, you know what, I think this is right. And if you didn't run things by someone else, your spouse, etc., it could end up in a bad place. And he says, to be very careful not to rely on your own mind at all. Unbelievable words. To speak things out. Is this the right thing? Is that the right thing? Last night I was on the phone late. I did an approach this way. Someone else said, no, you should have done it that way. Whatever. So there's different things. The next pasuk, and with this one we'll end. Interesting pasuk, important one. Gam bischok yichav lev, with laughter. Also with laughter, one has a hurt heart. Ve'acharita simcha, and at the end of happiness, tuga, could be sorrow. So this is like opposites. With happiness, there's a bad heart, and at the end of happiness, also with laughter, there's a bad heart, and also with happiness, there's sorrow. So the Gaon Vilna explains as follows: a mashal of a king who received a gift of a beautiful table. That's the mashal of a table, not a jewel, but it was a beautiful, ornate, golden, diamond table, and the king loved this table. And he had to travel to put this table in his palace, and they traveled by boat. And in advance, right when he got the table, one of the people that he's close to told the king, he says, this table is going to cause you a lot of sorrow. Said, why is it going to cause? I love it. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful table. Why? Anyway, they go on the ship, and something happened, whatever it was, a bad turn, and the table fell off the ship. So all the people, they jumped into the water to try saving the table, whatever, it sunk. And the king was very, very sad. And he told the person that his confidant, his friend, he said, wow, you're like a prophet that you said like it's going to cause me sorrow at the end. So the person told him, he says, no, he says it wasn't specific about this table. He says, let me just tell you a rule. And the rule is, based on the amount of happiness you have towards something, that is the amount of sorrow you will have if things don't go right. And the Gaon Vilna says that the greatest happiness that a person has in this life, okay, there's Torah, mitzvot, etc., but he says the greatest happiness a person has in life is his children. And therefore, it's the greatest happiness, but if something goes wrong, then it can be also the biggest sadness. And that's where he says over here that you have such happiness, but it could switch to sadness. And it could be acharita simcha, it could also be tuga, it could also be sorrow. So this is something we want to try working for our whole life as our children, our next generation, to always have happiness. And it's hard. And it's, sometimes it's like, disappoint. You didn't think that's going to end up being with my son, and it can be the biggest sadness. So based on the happiness is also could be the sadness as well. Very interesting and important lesson. That's that for today, and we will present Hashem tomorrow. Baruch Adonai le'olam. Amen ve'amen. Rabbi Chananya ben HaKasham v'Ratzah HaKadosh Baruch Hu l'zakot את ישראל לפיכך ירבה להם תורה ומצוות שמיים חפץ למען צדקו יגדיל תורה וידיר